You're listening to the Heart and Soul podcast with Kathryn Banco. I'm on a mission to celebrate breakthrough, empowerment, and shameless living in the lives of women everywhere. Join me and let's live unashamed together. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Heart and Soul. Today I'm joined by my dear, dear friend, Stefanie Roback. Welcome, Steph.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been a long time coming, but
I know.
You're finally on the pod. Stefanie is the owner and founder of Alora. Is it Alora Therapy?
Alora Rise, Counseling and Therapy. Come on, Kathryn. Get it
Change
together.
your name, I can't get the
I
Rise
know.
part.
I know.
Alora Rise.
Alora Rise. Yeah.
Alora Rise. How you doing?
Good. It's crazy.
We just signed on kind of, I'm not going to lie, I signed on a little frazzled because my baby woke up so early today. And so she's off her schedule and I look like I just rolled out of bed because I didn't have time to get ready or do anything. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm very, very sorry. Shameless living. So yeah, I just feel kind of a little lost. Plus this morning I had to return. Well, let's just talk about me.
Yeah. Go for it.
This morning I had to return. I did the drive up thing for Target where you can buy
Blessings
something.
on that, man. Praise Jesus for the drive up.
Thank you, Jesus. Yes, you are good. But I ordered a large. I'm my sizing ever since I had Coco has, well, it's changed. And so I don't know what size I am, but I have to order all new swimsuits for this summer. And so I ordered larges thinking the mediums that I have here are too small, so I'll go for a large. Well, then the larges were too big in that specific swimsuit, so I had to go return them this morning. So at 8 a.m., no, 8:15, I dropped William off at school, and then I just the first person in the Target parking lot.
Yeah.
And I'm returning swimsuits, and then I'm well, while I'm here, we've got that non-morning bloat where you wake up and you're maybe I should try on swimsuits while I'm here.
Yeah,
so
now's the time.
I did, a crazy person. I bought 5 swimsuits for this summer. Then I had to text Michael and be sorry about the charge.
So done up in the banking app right now.
Yes, and then while I was driving home, that's when she fell asleep in the car, and that's always you try to avoid car naps.
Oh, you do the mom slap. You're what up? What up? Yeah. Not actually slapping. I don't slap my children, but I tap the top of their heads or tickle them. I'm please don't go to sleep.
Yeah, it didn't work today. So she fell asleep. So I've just been I feel I've lived 3 lives this morning. It's only 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. I don't know. Okay, Stefanie, why don't you tell my listeners a little bit more about who you are and what you do, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay. I am a therapist, a mental health therapist. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and a licensed clinical addiction specialist. Those are the letters next to my naming. I own and founded Alora. Originally, Arise Counseling and Therapy. That is a long story.
We should talk about it.
It's on my Instagram. I can talk about it. It's a whole hot mess of a story. They recently sent me another legal notice because we still owned our old domain that was rerouting to our new domain. We're not allowed to do that. So my lawyer was Stefanie, and I was please, if I never see a lawyer's name in my email again, praise the Lord, because I about poop my pants every time I see a lawyer's name in my email.
I can only imagine. That's a lot.
Yeah. I should probably do some more. I've done lots of therapy in my life. I'm a therapist. I go to therapy. I need to do probably specific therapy on the trauma that I have, the trauma response I have to lawyers in my email. Yes, we were Rise Counseling and Therapy for 4 years. In October, we changed to Alora Rise. And we probably go mostly by Alora, but actually, because this time we're trademarking it because somebody came after me for not having Arise trademarked. They had the word Arise trademarked. They lived across the country. They were a healthcare organization, and they said, we're going to stomp you out, change your name in 10 days. And I said, give me 60. First I said, heck no. I put my foot down and I was absolutely not. And then my lawyers were you're probably going to have to do that. And I was Jesus, help me.
Trademarking is weird. I had to trademark shameless living. I'm
so
but anyone
weird.
can say it. I don't care if you say that.
Right. That's the thing. It's we're having, so that's the whole, we were going to name it Alora. They said Alora is already trademarked. Weird. But you can do Alora with another word, like a trademark a phrase. And I was cool. Let's add Rise and to Arise, Alora Rise, Arise, yeah, whatever.
There's another business called Soul, SOLE, but it's treadmills.
Mm-hmm.
and I get emails randomly from like
Mhm.
angry customers about their treadmill. And I'm like, how did I get
It ain't me.
it's not me, I didn't do it.
But yeah, so I have Allura. Well, we're in the 18-month process of getting Allura Rise trademark. So nobody try to do it. I'm doing it.
You're
But
like
it's
scaring
weird because
me.
I'm
I
like,
feel like
I
I
would
need
never, yeah, I would never go after someone. It's for my protection. So it's so weird to me that people have a random word in the dictionary trademarked, and then they're like, you can't use it, and you can't use it, and you can't. But praise Jesus, I was terrified. I mean, that was probably one of the lower moments of my life. I got on Zoom call. The women who work for me truly are the best women in the world. And I was like, you gotta hop on a Zoom call. They thought I was like closing the door. They didn't know I was like, we're having a Zoom call tonight, 8 p.m. Like, I need you all on it.
PM.
And I was just hysterically crying. I was like, this is going to ruin your referrals. No one's going to be able to find us. Your existing clients aren't going to be able to find us. Doctors and physicians aren't going to be able to refer to us, like, because we're going to be just lost off the face of the earth. All the 4 years that I spent tabling and marketing and knocking on doors and dropping donuts off at doctors' office, like, is gone. Is
Oh,
gone. So you're all screwed. You're all screwed. You're not getting any more referrals. Blah, blah. And they all were like, and I was like, if you want to leave, like, I understand. Like, whatever you need to do, I understand. And they all, God bless them, were like, we stand by you. This is not going to shake us. You're going to be great. You're going to come out better than ever. And I was like, and we did.
yeah,
Really, like, Wilmington, North Carolina.
is
I
it.
can't even explain it with the community. I posted this video, which everyone was telling me I had to get in front of the camera, which I don't really on our social media. And I was like, no. And finally, someone was like, sat me down and was like, Stephanie, you need to learn how to ask for help. And I was like, okay. So
That's a real thing.
I sat in front of the camera and just basically pleaded for help. I was like, look, we need this name change spread across Wilmington because otherwise people won't know where we went and they'll be looking for a rise and it doesn't exist. And it got so many shares by like all of the small businesses in town. It like I was seriously like hysterically crying of like this is the kindest gesture, just like people saying like we will not let you fail or fall apart or get lost. And it was so cool. So we actually ended up, I think, better than we started, which was not I anticipated.
Yeah. No, y'all
I think it's
really
people
I
rallied.
yeah, people did rally around y'all. Wilmington really is the best, especially for
Oh
like
yeah.
small business owners
Yeah.
because like I'm not gonna ask F45 to like spread something about me because it's a franchise, but
Right.
like
Yeah.
any other local business gym is like always willing to like do an event
Yeah.
or um share one of my fitness things and it's like we're not
Yeah.
in competition. It's like everyone's just kind of like in it together, which I love
Totally.
about
I love
Wilmington.
it. I love it. But yes, that's my name change story.
It's still going.
Still going. I still find things that have like, and I'm like, oh man, like my Capital One business. I'm like, it's gonna take me a minute to call Capital One and sit on the phone for 3 hours to change my name. I'm just not gonna do it right
Literally.
now, which might be illegal. So nobody follow
Well,
me.
I like that's how like just changing your actual name is. That's why I
Yeah.
didn't change my last name until like 6 years into marriage because I was like, ugh. And then we had a
Yeah.
baby named Collins, and I was like, I have to do it now. Like, then like what? I'm gonna be giving birth, and they're gonna be like, so Collins is her name? I'm like,
You
no.
psycho.
I'm like, I just love it. But I still find things like I bought a car like a month ago, and
Yeah.
I had to do like a cashier's check, and like I get there, I have like 20 minutes to get this cashier's check, and they're like, "Oh, your name's not changed on this account," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Just do it, do it." There's
Yeah.
always something.
Always something. But yeah, so I own a small mental health practice. Our main location's on Wrightsville Beach. We have a satellite location on Oleander. It is 8 of us in total. Everybody does something different, but we're all women. Really important to me that we were like female owned and ran and led and everything. Because I just, no hate on men, but the women, we just gotta stand together, you
Like
know?
no hate, but like a little, like.
like, like,
No, I love that you're all women, and
yeah.
everyone that I met this past weekend because they did a workout at Soul. I'm like obsessed with everyone you work with. Like you have such a good
I'm
environment over
obsessed.
there.
Yeah, that has been my thing with hiring, which I've just learned and grown over time. So we're gonna hit our 5 year anniversary in May. And over time it's just been like learning how to do notes, da da da, da, all of that can be learned. being a great, wonderful human being cannot. Like, that is a heart and soul. Like, that is, you just feel that in someone. All of these women, if you meet any single one of them, you immediately feel like daggers in your heart that they are just like a genuine, wonderful, salt of the earth human being. I am so lucky. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, I just love that. I'm obsessed with them. I'm like, if I was going to therapy, I'd pick one of them, you know?
No, for sure. I was like, maybe I need to change therapists. Like even when someone posted a photo of the workout and
Yes.
then I
Yeah.
shared it and then people were sliding into my DMs, oh my gosh, I love her. I love her. How do you
Yeah.
know her? And like one of my soul girls was like, that's my therapist. I was like, I don't think I need to know that.
No.
I think that's like
That's okay.
confidential. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're really all
They're
amazing. And that
amazing.
that kind of is a testament to you as a leader too. I mean,
Oh, thanks, friend.
people trust you and they want to be surrounded by someone who's like encouraging but also like a teammate, not just like a authoritative figure. So you're very good
Yeah.
at being like a teammate and a cheerleader for people.
Thanks. Thank you. That's learned too. I think you get into it and you get like, I mean, I grew up not in, no, my family, nobody owns a business. Like, there wasn't a ton of like that stuff taught. I never thought that I would own a business. And my husband really like was the one that was like, you could totally do this. But I think fear and anxiety and doubt creep in the, especially in the beginning. And you're like, can I do this? Do we have the money to do, like, are we going to fall apart? Like, finances are scary. Talking about money is
Yeah.
scary. Like, especially being a therapist, you don't learn about that in school. You go to a lot of freaking school to become a therapist, but nobody talks about business stuff if you wanted to do that. And I think over the last probably 3 years, I've really refined that, like, my role here is to love people well. That is it.
Yeah.
Like, that is it. I show up every day and like love these women who work here, our clients, like anybody we interact with, the businesses we partner with. Like, my only job is to love that person well, however that, whatever the conversation's about, whatever it looks like. And it always works out. And I feel like there's probably lots of business owners that are like, that's dumb advice.
No, but it's so true.
But it's just all I do. Like, I literally, I'm like, no matter what comes my way. I just told you when we logged on here that I got a really anxiety provoking text message that I have to answer regarding the business. I'm going to posture myself. I'm going to pray about it. Like, my faith is important to me. I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to get my heart right. I'm going to come from a position of love, and that is it. And whatever happens and unfolds is like, it's just going to unfold how it should.
Yeah, I mean that's the difference maker is love. And I mean, especially as believers, like running a business from like a Holy Spirit mindset.
Yeah.
Well, I guess posture, like you said, is the difference maker in what people like what sets you apart. I
Yeah.
I I mean, obviously I'm human, so like not always
Totally.
am I
No,
like
no, no, no,
acting
no, no. We've
from the Holy
definitely had our
Spirit.
personal training sessions where I'm like, Kathryn, we're falling apart.
But what I was gonna say is like, I mean, just 2 weeks ago you were here and I was like venting hard about my
Yeah.
business and hadn't done what you had just said, which is just like prayed about it. And like
Yeah.
it's so simple and but it's like so revolutionary to just like actually posture your heart and surrender and be like, why would I doubt a God who gave me this calling
Yeah.
and has provided all of this in the past so far?
Totally.
Why would I doubt
Totally.
him now?
We
And
just get
even
into that really
if,
human mindset where like, I can fix it. And when we
yeah,
get into fixing mode, it's like you're just going with your ego and your agenda and that doesn't work out.
totally. And like, even if he decides maybe this is the time to end your business,
Yeah.
like, how many transitions have I been through in my life where he's like set me up for the next thing? You know what I mean? It's
Totally.
like
Opened a bigger door.
open a bigger door or a different door. And then people who come into your business, like I'm sure you get this a lot, like just your space. Like if you pray over the
Yeah.
space that you actually like live in and work in, people feel something different. Like
Yeah.
we've done like Michael and I've done like prayer walks around the house or like when we first moved here, like we really prayed over the gym and then like
Yeah.
just to see like the I guess the chains kind of just break a little bit in people
Yeah.
in that specific room because of that. Like that's powerful. And like people,
Totally.
even if they're not believers, they're like, something's different about this space. I feel safe here. I feel like
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. And I mean, you're great at that. It obviously is your space, but you're amazing at that too. I think like the one takeaway when we all like walked out of working out is everyone was like, it just felt like safe. I felt like secure. I felt like she wasn't judging me. I know you go to gym sometimes and it's like, they're not judging you, but they may be judging like your level or your ability or like you just have this ability to make everybody feel like no matter how you're coming in, like, girl, I'm going to help you. And also it's fine. Like, it's fine. However you come in is fine. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna do it, and you're gonna be fine. You're safe to be however you are here.
I think the same goes for thank you for saying that, but I think the same thing
Okay.
goes for your business as well, is like there's this when you can make like a connection with a client of like we're all just a little messed up. Like have never come into my gym as a coach with like a six pack because I'm like a normal human who
Yes.
like loves
Totally.
who like loves wine and sweet
Yeah.
treats and like balance.
Yeah.
And, you know, I used to work at other gyms where everyone was like ripped. And I was just kind of like fit, but normal looking.
Right.
And I would get really in my head of like, oh, no, this a client's not going to want to work with me over this person because I
Totally.
don't. And anyways, all that to say is like same thing with you with how
Yep.
you run your business is like you show up vulnerable and
Yep.
not like you have everything together, which probably frees your clients up to be like, if she also struggles, then I can
Yeah.
struggle too freely with her. And it's just that just vulnerability breeds vulnerability and it's really cool to see.
Totally. So cool. Yeah. Thank you for that. But it's, yeah. I think that's also just a learning over time. Of like, you do show up wanting to. I got not so good advice when I first opened. I remember someone telling me like to keep my employees or the therapist. I don't even call them. I'm like, shit. Everybody that's here,
My
there's like my
friends.
boss. I'm like, stop calling me your boss. But everyone's like, keep them at like an arm's length. They shouldn't know stuff about your life. They shouldn't know like blah blah blah. I invited all these wonderful women to my children's birthday party. And it's like,
Yeah.
come on it. It's like, yes, from a business perspective, like that might make you be able to make like hard decisions. Like if anything ever hits it did. I showed them when stuff hit the fan here. I zoomed them all and I told them all.
Yeah.
I said, this is what's happening. I'm never gonna come from a position of like having a hard to make difficult, like, there's nothing that's ever just gonna come and like knock somebody off their feet where I would want like a stale, distant relationship with them to like preserve
Yeah.
myself. It's like, no. I want these women to know that I truly, from the depths of my soul, love and care about them. I want them to do well. I want their families to do well. Like, I want them to be whole and healthy and all the time. Here it is always like, if you need some time off, you don't have to explain, like, just block your calendar. Just take a minute. Like, whenever I see anybody has like stacked clients, I'm like, what are you doing? Are you eating lunch? Did you take a break today? Like, I'm here to like love these women well. And I remember that was like the advice I got from one person specifically was like, keep them at an arm's length. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do, I'm not
No,
gonna do
not
that.
not I'm gonna ignore
Nah.
that. Well,
Yeah.
and that also is what sets I feel like women-owned businesses apart. Like you
Yes.
said, you're like, I only hire women, and same with me, like only women clients, women, women, women.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's what sets us apart because there's a difference between a man leading a company and a woman leading a company. And this is
Yeah.
like take Jesus out of it. Like we'll
Totally.
put him in a second. But
Yeah.
like men are just very like logistical,
Right.
very like not a lot of vulnerability, just naturally
Yeah. Yeah.
how they're created.
Yeah.
Well, then you add Jesus into it, and obviously things are different, and like
Yeah.
that's a separate thing. But then women, even without Jesus, we're just like, can we just like share our feelings? Like we're just such nurturers, like in how
Yeah.
we were made, and then
Yeah.
you add the Lord into that on top of that, and it's just like I don't think I could lead from a place of like walls up and like
No.
totalitarian, like it's how what I say goes, separate business is not personal, personal, you know, it's like
No.
that's what
We're
I
all
told you
human
the other
beings.
week.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you know, when a client leaves, like I'd like to say like, oh, it's not personal, it's business. But for me, it kind of is personal because these
Yeah.
people are my people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's pros and cons to both, but I feel like the pros
Totally.
outweigh the cons when it comes to
Totally.
leading
Totally.
that way.
Totally. And
Yeah. Okay.
it's your values. So go ahead. Are you
I was just
yawning
gonna
right
say,
now?
like, no, I was thinking, you know
Am
what?
I that boring?
I wasn't yawning, but I wouldn't put it past
Okay.
me with this the morning I've been through.
Oh, true.
No, I was gonna say when you were talking, you were like, I started this 5 years ago in May. I'm like, that's like COVID. That was like
Yes. Height of the
very
pandemic.
COVID.
Absolutely. It was very COVID. It was the crazy. Yeah. Only God. I just,
Only God.
it was not a smart decision. There were so many not wise decisions that any business owner would have told me not to do it. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I feel like Jesus is telling me to do it. Even right
Yeah.
now, like we technically have the ability to take on another therapist for a while. We have. And my husband's like, talking to me about it. And my answer is always like, God's telling me not to hire anybody. And people I know think that that's weird. And I
Yeah.
totally understand that. when I was a non-believer, like I totally felt like God just tells me. So like that was like, it was a weird unfolding. We were supposed to move. My husband's family lives in Pinehurst, North Carolina. We were supposed to move there. We just wanted to be closer to family, to raise our families. We bought a house there. We were going to move. And it ended up that he thought he would be able to be remote, and his company told him no. So when they told him no, we had to pivot. We found like the company that built houses there. We were able to transfer and buy a house here. But I had already started dreaming and making this plan. I was just doing a solo practice in Pinehurst, and I was like, had all the, like the logos and all the stuff. And I was like, I just feel like I'm not meant to put this down, even though we're staying here.
Mm.
So I was like, I'm just going to do something solo here. Um, Rent
Lol.
an office space on Wrightsville Beach, which ended up being a huge blessing because like there's gonna be no time besides the pandemic that you can, and the weird part in between there is that they told him no, you can't be remote, and then the world shut down a month later, and he worked remote for 3 years. God shut the door like right before. It was crazy timing.
No,
So we
really,
had
because had
already
he not
bought the
done that, you
house.
probably
We would
you'd
have
be
been
living
living
in
in
Pinehurst.
Pinehurst,
Yeah.
totally. Because we would have been like, if we had made the decision a month later, we'd been like, oh, it's pandemic. We're going to be remote for a while anyway. Like, but it was right before, which was ended up being like a really cool thing. I don't remember what I was going to say. That's
No,
it.
I
It
was just
left my
saying that
head.
you like
I have a
opened your
mom
business
brain.
in the heart
Yes,
of
I did.
2020.
Totally did. And but I wouldn't have been able to get an office on Wrightsville Beach. It was just a ghost town because nobody had office space. So I was like, I'll rent this office. And everyone's like, that's a dumb idea. And I was like, I'm going to do it. Which ended up being cool because UNCW like reached out. No one would take their intern. You have to have an internship to be able to graduate with your MSW. And so we took 2 interns. Like we ended up having space for like I took 2 interns, and then I was like, I'll never have a group practice. I never want to do that. And then one person came and was like, hey, I'd love to work with you. And I'll be like, okay, come on. And another person, I was like, okay, come on. And I was like, I actually love this. Like, I think it's my favorite part of the whole thing now
Yeah.
is like being able to support and mentor like other therapists. And so it ended up all working out. But yes, really bad idea worked out really well for us.
Yeah.
Our second space in the Wrightsville Beach location, we have 2 suites that are right next to each other. But I was 9 months pregnant
I remember
with
this.
Ollie. Yeah, I was working out with you at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a really dumb idea, but like if I don't do it now, there's never any space open in this building. If I don't do it right now, I'm not gonna get the opportunity to do it. So we signed it. Again, I was like, this is a dumb idea. Like, but we found 2 wonderful, incredible therapists, and yeah, it all just worked out. All these things that I'm like, that's a really dumb idea. If I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna
Yeah.
figure it out, it always works
Yeah.
out.
And everything that seems really hard, like even the name
Oh
change,
yeah.
you're
Oh
just
man.
like,
That almost took me out. I literally said to my husband, I was like, close the doors. I'm done. Like, I'm
yeah.
done. I was already I was just in a season, which I think that we were working out together then too, right before that. But I was in a season where I was at capacity.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I have so many tasks and so many things, and I love what I do. I don't ever show up here and be like, this doesn't feel like work to me, but it's a lot of tasks, a lot of things. I have 2 babies. Like I just have a lot. I'm at capacity. If anything else, I kept saying for like weeks before that, if anything else comes on my plate, like I'm just gonna lose my mind. And then it was like name change everything with insurance companies, all of the Secretary of State, go there 6 different times. Marketing, website, have somebody read the website, have somebody do the Instagram, take all the signs off all the building, take all your merch out, throw that in the trash. I donated it all. So everyone's got there's probably lots of people with like cute Arise sweatshirts walking around town.
They are
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, thanks. Well,
Yeah.
they're vintage now. Um, but I was just, I was like, it was funny because I was like, God, if you put one more thing on my plate, I'm gonna crack. And he did it, and I said, I'm done. Close the doors. I'm done. Done. I'm not doing this. I can't do this. I don't have the time to do this. And my husband was like, you're gonna do it. And I was like, I'm not.
Well, because
And then
it's
I got on
always,
the phone call with these girls, and they were like, "We love you. We love this. Like, people will support you. We're gonna be fine." And I was like, "We're not." And then we were.
yeah. And it's always like that when you think you've hit capacity in life, when God throws
Yes.
something else at you.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I'll never say that out loud again.
he's like, he's like, don't you know that that's when I prune you is in the hard seasons?
Yes.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I don't like
No,
that.
I
But
don't.
it's
I
true.
like
It
it.
really is true. Like Michael's, whenever I talk about like possibly
Yeah.
wanting a third baby, Michael's like, do you remember being pregnant 6 times in 4 years? And I'm like, no, I did don't. I
Not
want to
really.
try.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course you do, but it's like,
Yes.
it's always in those hard seasons where you're like pruned the most. So you're like, well,
Yeah.
it's going to be worth it.
Right.
Same thing with business is like,
Yeah.
I know it'll be worth it, but I just don't know if I can handle it. And then he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, you don't have to. Like, I can handle
Right.
it
Right.
for us." And you're
Yeah.
like, whenever you like talk like this, when you're like, I had to go to the Secretary of State, and then I had a lawyer, and then I had marketing, and this, that, that. Do you ever feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm officially grown up?
I feel like an imposter all the time.
Yes.
Somebody asked me that the other day. Someone I was talking like a young, I think she was like going to be a new grad, and she's like, "When do you get over?" I was like, "You don't. You
I still
don't."
feel like I'm 16
Yeah,
trying to like,
I'm a teen mom who owns a business, who gave me a baby and keys to a building and text messages of people asking me about lease agreements and attorneys emailing me about like I'm too young. Where's my mom? Where's the adult?
where's my mommy?
Somebody come help me.
No, but literally, my mom's like
Yeah,
at my house right now cleaning out my closet. So like, we still need
it's
our
so nice.
mommies.
We still need our mommies. Yeah, my dad's coming this weekend, and I'm like, please help me. I just need a hug.
Like, you know, literally.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, let's just jump to that. You're a mom of two, and you
Mm-hmm.
decided to get pregnant, start a business, and do all this at the same time. What's it
Mm-hmm.
like, juggling entrepreneurship and motherhood? And be honest.
Well, I would like you to picture in your mind like a dumpster that's on fire. Just kidding. Sometimes I'm just kidding. Um, I
I
would
think that might be
say
the title of the episode, A Dumpster Fire with Jesus.
Jesus is in the middle going, it's gonna be okay, and I'm going, oh, okay. Yes. No, I mean, our
Just
first baby was
no.
really hard. 0 to 1 for me. I think we've talked about this. People say
Way
like 1 to
harder.
2 is hard, 3 to 3 is hard, you're on number 5, but 0 to 1 was like, and height of pandemic, we were pregnant. So it was like, that's Lysol your groceries
Mhm,
season,
mhm,
which I was doing because I was
mhm.
pregnant, terrified.
Right,
Wouldn't let
right.
anybody come near us. So I was totally isolated, just opened a business, pregnant with my first child. Yeah, struggled really hard. I had really bad postpartum OCD after.
Me too. We talked
I
about that, haven't we?
yeah, I just struggled. It was a struggle. I think that what got me through it was a lot of prayer, a lot of surrender, and just recognizing like what was in my control, what was out, what needed to be done. I always give myself like, even if I don't write it down in my mind, I'm always every day I give myself like hierarchy of like this is the stuff that has to be done. Like these are the when I explain to clients, it's like you're juggling rubber balls and glass balls. The glass ones you drop, they're going to shatter. Those are important. The rubber ones, if you drop them, might not be the best thing, but they're going to bounce back up and you're going to be able to catch them again. So
Ooh, that's good.
I might have 25 tasks to do today, but like 2 of them are glass, which usually are like my children. And sometimes there's something with the business that like absolutely has to be addressed today, has to get done, especially when it was name change season. It was like, I have to be at the Secretary of State today. Like everything else needs to kind of bounce or be handed to somebody else or I think that what makes it like it's definitely maybe not a dumpster fire. Maybe the dumpster I don't. Maybe the dumpster's smoking right now. It's not like totally on fire. But I have those days where yeah, I'll wake up and there's 16 emails of like really urgent things that need to be addressed, and they want to. It's accountants and lawyers and blah blah, blah meetings on like back to back to back. And then my kids wake up, and of course it's the day that they wake up and they're just like rabid animals. I have two
Yeah.
boys, and they literally wake up and just start beating each other up sometimes
It's always the
and
days when
it's
you have
always
the most glass balls to hold that
yeah.
the kids decide to be like,
They're like, "Oh,
they come at you.
you want something else to yeah, figure out today?" And you just ask I think it's you ask for help. You surrender to for me, if you're a faith-driven person, which if you're not, you have to figure out what holds what anchors you. My anchor is Jesus, that's mine. And just surrendering of like I don't have to do it perfectly and it doesn't all have to be right. And at the end of the day, whatever he wants, it's his will, it's gonna happen and cling on to your friend. Like talking to you is always like cathartic for me. I have other friends who have businesses and have kids, and it's just a different way of life. Like I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I would like to sleep until 7 a.m. I can't because if I do that, I am a hot mess. I know for my, you have to learn yours. I think that that's actually probably my biggest thing. You have to you have to know yourself. I am not a night person. When it hits 7 p.m., when the kids go to bed, I want to go to bed.
I'm
Like
out.
I can't do anything important. I can like maybe sift through some emails, like, but really so for me, it's like I have to wake up really, really early and like get myself together. I have quiet time. I exercise. I move my body. I eat something before the kids wake up, and then I'm like more present and ready. And
Right.
then they go to school for a few hours, and I'm like go 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 get everything done, and then I want to be present with them. And at night, I want to stare at the wall and zone out. You just have to like
Literally.
learn your own rhythm.
That's a really good advice. That's so true. The learning your own rhythm because there might be some moms like I train someone who is a mom and she also works from home and she's like I get most of my work done after the kid goes to
Yeah,
bed. And then I can sleep in a little bit longer and wake up with the
yeah,
kid. And I'm like, well, if that works for you, that's great. Like you just have to kind of
totally.
know yourself. And
Yeah, and not judge yourself and not compare yourself to other people because that totally killed me with baby
yeah.
number one. I was like, all the moms are like, "Why is this girl working? She should be home with her baby." To in my head, this is my distorted.
No, yeah,
You
these are
know,
the
we call them
voices.
cognitive distortions here in the therapy world. I'm like, all the moms think, "Wow, she sends her children to a 3 hour preschool in the morning. She's a terrible mom. She should be home with her babies." And all the therapists are probably looking at me saying she doesn't see a full caseload of therapists or clients in a day. Like she only sees a few clients a week. Like she's not really a therapist. So in my head, I'm like, am I a
Yeah.
therapist or am I a mom? Am I like, what am I? And I feel like just this year I've been like, I'm both. And
Yeah.
I could do both. And I structure my time to do both and to do both really well. And like,
That
but I succumb to that. Like everybody's judging me.
yeah. What Michael calls it like analysis paralysis. Like when you start
Yeah.
analyzing other people's lives and like comparing, then you like
Yeah.
paralyze your own like life because
Yeah.
you're just thinking I'm not enough.
Yeah.
And it's so not true. Also, like, have you ever like looked at a mom on Instagram and been like, she's really not like measuring up? Like
No.
I've never like judged other moms. So like, why do I always think that other moms are
Always.
judging me or being like, okay,
Totally.
even like with like this is so silly, but like even with like Easter, like
Does my Easter basket measure up?
no, literally, like, oh my gosh,
I
I
didn't do
didn't.
an Easter egg hunt, and my mother was like, "You're not
Oh,
doing an Easter." I'm like, "They have one at school. I didn't know. I did." And then my kid woke up and said, "Do I have Easter eggs?" And I was like, "No."
I didn't either, first of all.
Yeah,
My kids
but
did at school, so I'm like, okay, well,
yeah,
check, that's done.
check, done. Yeah,
But like then even like seeing like the matching outfits and like the Easter baskets that have like their
so cute,
names like
embroidered,
embroidered.
beautiful.
Like I got mine at
Yeah,
Walmart the night
yeah,
before and I had them deliver it like
yeah,
because I didn't have time to go to the store.
yeah.
So it's like, but no, I know like nobody's saying I'm a bad
No.
mom, but you just like think that. And maybe
Yeah.
someone is. And if you are, like that's on you because I'm a good mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's crazy
It's
though.
crazy out there. It's
It's
crazy. Our
freaking
brains are like
crazy.
crazy.
But then we're also like, we always talk about this too. You and I were like, we're so, we're drowning. And then we're like, but like one more, like why not one more baby? Like there's like something really wrong with
My
us.
husband thinks there's something wrong with me because all the time I'm like, I can't, again, like the same thing as before, I can't handle it. If one more thing goes on my plate, if a crumb lands on this plate, you're going to have to, I don't even know, send me on to an island alone for a while. Like, I'm going to crack. I'm going to freak out. And then I'm like, but like one more baby would be really, he's like, Stephanie, you're drowning. You literally, like, you all the time, you're like, I can't handle this. I'm like, we're already in chaos. What's
Yeah,
one
that's
more?
literally what I say. That's literally what I say.
What's one more?
What's
We'll
one
see.
more? We are gluttons for punishment. But
I
we
know.
love what
I love babies.
I love
I love my
bugs.
kid.
Michael does the same thing. Like even yesterday, like I was so sweet to him via text. I was like, because he has a really busy week, and I was
Yeah,
like, you got like I was like, you
yeah,
got this week. Send him like kissy
yeah,
emojis and like funny gifts, like to encourage him. And then like he
yeah.
gets home after work, and I'm like,
And
yeah,
you're like,
you tag. Yeah, I'm like.
tag, you're it.
He's like,
You're
what
tag.
happened? What happened to the morning text girl? And I'm like,
She
she's
gone.
been through it.
She's they sucked the life out of me. She's gone.
She's gone.
But then
And
they
then
go
I'm
to
like,
sleep and you're like scrolling, looking at pictures that are watching them sleep. You're like, just one more.
yeah. You like roll over and look at them. You're like, how
Yeah,
you doing, boo? Like trying to like
yeah,
get them to
yeah.
like
Just one more
conceive a
baby.
baby.
Just one. Like, you scared me when I came home from work today. Is that going to get worse?
I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
it's
don't think
not personal,
so.
it's business.
Yeah, and I don't think I'd get more. I don't know.
I don't know that I
I don't
can
know.
get more stress, so why don't we
I
just
don't think so. Yeah.
but we can.
We
But
could.
we'll just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I have these 5 questions. I feel like we could talk forever, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
So We do have
Cut us
businesses and
off.
babies, but I have 5 questions that I used to ask every single guest, but I decided to
Oh.
stop it in season 7, and I don't know why because they're actually pretty good questions. But
Yeah.
I think just for time's sake, motherhood. But I kind of want to ask you. I'm gonna go
Okay.
back. I'm gonna go back to the
Ready,
old
set, go.
questions. Okay, first question: what is something that you're currently obsessed with right now?
I just
Pretty
read Yours Truly, this book that came out, and I was obsessed. I stayed up past my bedtime last night. So I would say
Ooh,
like romantic books right now. I'm
yeah,
into it.
she's crazy staying up past her
I
bedtime.
did. I was like, I stayed up till 9:30. And then I woke up at 4. My husband was like, "Was it worth it?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
it was."
And then you're like
Because
also like rolling your eyes and just like
I'll
dying.
be sleeping by 2 p.m.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Okay, second question. What's something that you are very excited for in 2025? You're like, conceiving another
Mm.
child.
Don't let my husband listen to this. He's gonna be Stephanie. That no. Probably being more present. I feel like I've been really allowing myself to be refined. I got off social media for a whole month. I'm on it back on it now, but I was off it for a full month, and I felt like that helped me just kind of like detox. I feel like I'm doing some work and being present, and I'm giving tasks away, like which is not my. I'm super type A, so I'm like got my checklist and all my stuff, but
Yeah,
I've been
me too.
delegating like crazy and having people like hired on to help with things, and so I feel like I feel like I'm regaining my ability to like be like really present, which I'm excited for.
Love that. What is something that you really love about yourself right now?
Ask the
Daddy.
therapist a therapy question I'm not prepared for. Um,
Doesn't have to be physical, obviously.
I
It
would
can
say
be
my
anything.
authenticity. I
Yeah.
would say I would say I'm proud of and I love my authenticity. I think that I if something's going on, you're gonna see it, you're gonna feel it, but like I'm very authentic in like my interactions with people. I don't love. I'm actually like kind of an introvert, and so I don't love like surface level chatty. Like I want to be authentic. I want to know what's really going on in your heart. Like I want to help and I want to love on people. So I feel like authenticity.
You are very authentic. I love that about you. Honestly, I don't know if there were 5 questions or there were four, but I can only remember four. So I'm going to
Okay.
ask the fourth one because, like,
Okay.
I don't know the other two.
Okay.
The fourth one, the final one, is if you could leave a post-it note of encouragement or truth on someone's like mirror or computer today, what would it
Yeah.
say? Short and sweet.
I would probably say your thoughts aren't always true.
Preach.
Most of the time, I will not say all the time, because obviously life happens and like real things happen and it gets really hard. Most of our internal chaos and anxiety and all the worries and all the things come from things that we concoct in our own minds and our thoughts about ourselves and our surroundings and what's going on. The way that you see the world is the way that you're going to interact with the world.
Right.
So if your thoughts are not filled with truth and they're coming from things you're worried about or anxious about or whatever, that's going to totally change the way you interact with your world and feel and see and relationships and all the things. So I would just say that your thoughts are not always true.
I had to remind myself that a lot, especially I actually learned that in therapy when I had my eating disorder, but also I started finding scripture around it and like, take every thought captive. Like it's so
Right.
biblical to be like,
Yeah.
take the thought captive, assess if that's from the enemy or from the Father. Like, would God say that
Yeah.
about you? No?
Right.
Okay, well then it's
Yeah.
not true.
Right.
And then you can like replace the thought with truth. You're so wise. Y'all.
Oh, well, I still struggle. I always do the drive when I have like full on like scenarios that didn't happen happening in my head, and I'm like, well, if that happened, what would I do? What would I say? And what happened? Did it? And then I'm like, I just had a full blown conversation with myself around something that isn't true, didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's filled with like lies and truth, and I just did that for 10 minutes. So like, I do it too.
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess, try to catch myself.
I mean, I could take a 5-minute shower and within the shower I have written a whole movie scene about
Yeah.
things that could go wrong in my life.
Yeah.
And Michael like doesn't have inner dialogue, which is like crazy to me.
That is crazy.
I am like
So
constantly thinking.
nothing, it's just
He's
silence?
like, "Well, I'm just kind of like doing what I'm doing, like focused
Oh,
on
no.
that." And I'm like,
No, I've never
you have like
experienced that in
no
my life.
anxiety, like no like what? I don't get it. And then I'll be like in my head when he's like actually focused on something and not like staring at me and trying to flirt. And I'm like, "You hate me."
Do you hate me right now? Why are
Literally.
you mad at me? They're like, I'm
Like
not. Why are you?
I'm like, "Why aren't you smiling when you're texting those people?" And he's like, "Well, I'm just texting them. I'm not thinking about you." And I'm like, "I don't get it." Mm-mm.
I don't
I'm in the
drink
room.
in it. No.
But
I also sing in my head all the time. I don't understand people who have silent heads. I'm like, I'm walking down the steps. I'm putting my It's a Broadway show in my head all the time. I don't understand. I would love to talk to Michael. Really, just tell me more
I don't think
about
he
what your
could
head
because he
feels
doesn't
like.
think about it.
He doesn't.
Okay, listeners, or Stefanie, tell the listeners where they can find you, follow you, connect with you, get therapy from you, all the things.
Oh, you can find our therapy website at www.allorarise.com.
Allura
You
Rise,
can
okay? Don't mess up.
Allora Rise, ALLORARISE,
And
allorarise.com.
don't forget the rise
Mouthful.
like I
Don't
did.
forget the rise because otherwise I'll be in copyright or trademark infringement. I'll get in trouble. Instagram at Allura Rise. I think that's.
I'll put it all in the show notes too.
Okay.
So that you can easily click and follow and schedule your next therapy appointment.
Nice.
I love you, Steph.
I love you too.
Thanks for taking
This was
time
funny.
out
You came on like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I was like, I don't know. But we could
that's
have
the
kept us going for
way.
hours.
But you know what? That's just why we're so authentic. Like we don't need a script.
I don't need a script. Just say a word and I'll talk. I'll just keep talking.
We can chat all day.
Yeah. So you sing in your head too.
Oh yeah. I also need to there's so many possible titles for this episode that while we've been talking, speaking of inner dialogue, I'm like, ooh, that'd be a good.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this thing's gonna be called. But you will, listeners, because it's already out. Stefanie, I love you so much.
I love you
And
too.
listeners, I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Heart and Soul. If this episode encouraged you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Talk to you next week.